Good morning, kids. It's Mr. Agee here, and we are going to focus on Lesson 12 in your Eureka Math um, workbook. And our focus today is going to be on division. Before we get started, I want to do a quick review that multiplication and division have the same basic parts. So when you are doing a multiplication equation or a division equation, you're going to have a total number of items, you're going to have a number of groups, and you're going to have equal sized groups. That's the nature of multiplication and division. In division, you're starting with the total items, and the part that you divide by is either the number of groups or the equal sized group. And the lesson for today is that the whichever part you have whichever part is given in the equation or in the problem, the quotient represents the other part. So let me explain. You're starting with the total number of items in division. Division equations begin with the total number of items to be divided, and you're either given the number of groups or the equal sized groups. Whichever one they give you, you're dividing the total number of items either into groups or by the size of each group, and the quotient will always represent whichever of these parts is missing. So if you're given the number of groups, that means the quotient represents the size of the group. If you're given the size of the group, that means that the quotient represents the number of groups. That is the focus of the lesson today. If you don't have your green workbook with you right now, please pause the video, go get your green workbook, and open to the problem set for lesson 12. Pause the video. If you don't have it, get ready because I'm getting ready to lead you through it, and I want you to use your pencil to do what I do in Kami. I'm not going to be assigning this on Kami. I want you to use your pencil for the problem set in lesson 12, and your assignment is going to be to independently work through the homework for lesson 12. I'll say that again at the end. So moving out of this and into the lesson 12 problem set, we are focused on division equations using story problems, and every problem here is going to have either 2 as the size of the group or the number of the groups. Okay, so here there are 8 birds at the pet store. Okay, I see the 8 birds in the picture. 2 birds are in each cage. Draw or circle to show how many cages there are. Okay, so 8 birds, 2 birds in each cage. They give me the size of the group, and so my quotient will represent how many groups there are. And in this case, the word cage is what represents the group. So that how many cages there are is how many groups there are. All right, so I'm going to go over to my draw feature. I'm going to change to red so you can see it. I'm going to circle a group of 2. There's 1 group of 2. Here's 2 groups of 2. Here's 3 groups of 2. Here's 4 groups of 2. Do this with your pencil. Now I'm going to go into the text box. And in the text box, I'm going to put the quotient for how many cages there are, because if I take 8 total birds, divide them into 2 birds per cage, that's the size of the group, I end up with the number of groups, 4 cages. So there are 4 cages of birds. In your workbook, make sure you have this written down. If you need to stop the video and get it written down, go ahead and do that. Next up, we've got our handy dandy tape diagram model. Now, you'll notice that we skipped lesson 11. Lesson 11 focuses heavily on representing division with tape diagrams. It's a lesson that I'm going to have to show you by hand. It doesn't really work very well in Kami, so I've got to set up a projector here at home to figure out exactly how to show you how to practice putting division into tape diagrams. We're going to do that. So don't fret, we will get to lesson 11. We're in lesson 12 now, problem number 2. We are using the read, draw, write process as usual. So as we read, we're thinking, what can we draw? What can we write? The pet store sells 10 fish. Okay, I know what fish are. I know what the number 10 is, and I know what a pet store is. I'm visualizing this problem. They equally divide the fish into 5 bowls. Draw fish to find the number in each bowl. So I could spend time drawing fish with details like scales and gills and eyes and fins and things like that. But this is math. I want to be focused on drawing a model that's representative of the problem. So I'm just going to use little lines. And so if you see the tape diagram here, it represents the total number of fish. That's why they put 10 fish. And they also outlined 5 bowls. So each one of the units here is the group. The group is the bowl, and there are 5 groups. So they're giving you the total number of groups. In this one, in the problem before, you were trying to find the groups. They gave you the size of each group. Now we're trying to find they give us the size of each group. Oh no, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. They give us the number of each group, which is or the number of groups, which is 5 bowls, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the size of each group? Well, they gave us a little clue here in the problem, in the equation. They said, okay, so there's 5 fish I'm sorry, there are 5 bowls times the number of fish in each bowl equals 10, or 10 total fish divided by the number of groups, 5 bowls, gives us how many fish are in each bowl. Well, if you remember, we used a distribution strategy before, so I'm going to use the draw feature to distribute fish and count up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I start over. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I got to my 10 fish. I used all 5 bowls. There are 2 fish in each bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and put my text box here with the 2 in it. I'm going to put my text box here. 10 fish divided into 5 bowls gives me 2 fish per bowl. How many fish are in each bowl? What's the size of the group? 2 fish in each bowl. All right, so now it's asking us to do some matching problems. Okay, so they give us 10 divided by 2, 16 divided by 2, 18 divided by 2, 14 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2. So these are basic division facts. And when you're working with twos, you can think of counting by twos or doubles facts. So doubles facts like this one up here, 5 times 2 equals 10, is the same as 5 plus 5 equals 10, the doubles fact. So eventually we're going to work to memorize these facts, and if you already have them memorized, good on you. But the big idea here is that we get a little extra practice dividing by 2, thinking of it as doubles facts, or just knowing the division fact. So we just did this problem, 10 divided by 2, or I'm sorry, 10 divided by well, we didn't do 10 divided by 2, but if you remember, these are part of the same fact family. So if I've got 10 divided by 2 fish per bowl, I end up with 5 bowls. So this one is basically done for me. My 10 divided by 2 goes to 5. Now, 16 divided by 2. Well, I know that 8 plus 8, or 2 eighths, gets me to 16. Another way to think about it is counting by twos. And each time you count by a 2, hold up a finger. And you stop at 16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I've got 8 fingers up. 8 plus 8 is 16. So my doubles fact that gets me there. Ooh, I could do the same thing for 18. If I know that it took 8 twos to get to 16, I'm going to add one more 2 to get to 18. Okay, so that would be 9 groups of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 gives me 9. 9 twos. Okay, now I've got 2 problems left. I'm thinking, okay, 5, no, not 5, 6 plus 6, because here it was 5 2 times to get to 10. I need one more 2, So to get to 12, so that 12 divided by 2 is going to be 6. I can check it with my doubles fact. 6 plus 6 does, in fact, equal 12. Now, my last one, just to make sure we're right, does 7 plus 7 equal 14? Well, it sure does. Or I could count. There are numerous strategies you can use to solve division problems by 2. All right, now they're asking us a lot here. The tape diagram for division is very useful. It takes some getting used to. If you have trouble with this part, don't fret over it. Don't spend a whole bunch of time on it when you're doing the homework, but you can go back to this video and watch me as a model work through this problem. Lena buys 14 meters of ribbon. Okay, so this ribbon, this is the ribbon. This is like a tape diagram model, and the ribbon is shaped just like the tape. So we're pretending that the tape is the ribbon. And so down here, what we know is the total is 14 meters of ribbon. Okay, I could go ahead and put that in there using the read, draw, write process. So this representation, the entire tape is 14 meters of ribbon. Now, if I was just labeling it with my pencil, I would probably do this, 14M, and that's it. Now, up here, I'm looking at, okay, if I was going, oh, I better read the rest of the problem, right? So I know that the total is 14 meters. She cuts her ribbon into 2 equal pieces. Now, that's the same thing as dividing in half or dividing by 2. So she's taking the total 14 and dividing by 2. So we know that each group is going to be half of the total. How many meters long is each piece? Okay, so it's asking for half of the length of 14. So each part of this tape diagram is half of the length of the meter of the ribbon. I can represent that here by putting a problem here. 14 divided by 2 equals, and this is right now a question mark. I have to think about it first. Okay, so how many meters long is each piece? Label the tape diagram to represent the problem, including the unknown. Okay, so this we know that there are 2 groups, and so each one of these is a group. The size of the group is going to be the length of the piece, and we've already decided that 14 divided by 2 is going to give us that length. We could either look back, because we've already done this problem, 14 divided by 2 is 7, or we could redo it in our mind. We can count by 2s up to 14 and see how many 2s we get, but we know that it's going to be 7 meters. Okay, so each piece is 7 meters long. Okay, so Roy eats 2 cereal bars. We're in number 5 now, and I'm trying to get these done really quickly. I only have 15 minutes total to give you these problems. Roy eats 2 cereal bars every morning. Each box has a total of 12 bars. How many days will it take Roy to finish 1 box? Okay, so I've got 12 total, so I know I'm going to start with 12, and I'm going to divide by what they give me here, 2 cereal bars every morning. So the group size is 2, and it wants to know how many days or how many mornings it's going to take him. So 12 divided by 2 is going to give me the number of days it takes to eat him, to not eat him, to eat the cereal bars. Okay, so 12 divided by 2, I could do an array if I wanted to with my text box. I could go, okay, 12 divided by 2, I'll do, I'll think about it the other way here and use multiplication. I know that he eats 2 each morning times some number of mornings gives me 12 total bars. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, if I count by 2s, how many fingers am I going to hold up to get to 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's 6 fingers. Takes 6 days.